the Thunder defeated the Warriors 104-97 on Saturday, but the story after the game, once again, the conversation surrounding how SGA is officiated. As a team, the Warriors attempted 18 free throws, while SGA attempted 15 free throws alone. He is second in the NBA in most free throws attempted this season. Here's Steve Kerr, Warriors head coach, on SGA after the game.
He's incredibly clever, and he knows exactly how to draw contact, and it's all within the rules. And I don't have a problem with Shea. I have a problem with the rules. So, I just think that we, as a league, too much off arm. We hardly allow the defense to do anything, guarding the ball. So if you allow the offensive player to push off with the off arm to create space, it makes it really tough defensively.
Okay, so now this has come up a couple different times from a couple different coaches, and I see Kenny kind of laughing here. Is the NBA being petty, or do you think this is becoming a real problem with the way SGA defends?
Well, no, he's officiated the same way everyone else in the league is. He just does it more because the ball is more, his usage rate is much higher. So he's going to have more calls. The one thing that's interesting is that why would Steve Kerr matter to him? It would matter because they have no shot on getting into the seventh position and really no shot on really falling to 9 or 10. So if they make the play-in, they will be the 8th seed. And who's sitting at 1? The Oklahoma City Thunder. That's why it matters today, and that's why I need to talk about it more, because if everything falls in place for the Golden State Warriors, their first-round matchup in the NBA playoffs would be the Oklahoma City Thunder. And so with the Oklahoma City Thunder, you have a guy who he draws fouls the same way James Harden did, the same way Michael Jordan, the best players in the league. They get their money from the free throw line. You cannot score buckets and be a top scorer in this league. You have to, Jokic, Giannis, you have to get to the line to be one of the top scorers in the league. And he is diverse at it, and he doesn't live at the three-point line. He does not live there. He lives coming downhill. He's going to get to the elbow, and he's going to get into the paint. And as his feet does not touch the paint on an offensive possession, he's upset, Steve.
Let me say this to you, Kenny. I don't disagree with anything that you say. I just think that it's important to recognize that the league, the players, the coaches, rather, they have to make a choice. You want your money or you want these rules? Because the rules that have been implemented, it has facilitated more offense, which one would argue has made the game more exciting. Now, me personally, I would like to see more defense. I'm sure Kenny would like to see more defense. I'm sure we would like to see every ticky-tack where, a guy sitting up there and he extending his arm and then you come under him to draw the foul and stuff like that. Because even though you're going to get to the free throw line, in the same breath, you want cats looking to score as opposed to not looking to get to the free throw line to get freebies. That is true. But in the same breath, the NBA just signed an 11-year, $77 billion deal. So the audience out there, not just, from a geographical perspective, not just national, but globally, has told you they love the product that they're seeing. Certainly, you could cut down on everything not being a three-point shot. You could cut down to some degree on the frequency with which somebody gets to the free throw line. Shea is averaging 8.3 free throws a game. But in the end, the bottom line is whatever rules they implemented along these last few years have really facilitated better, more productive offenses. And as a result, people have found that more attractive than the bad boy Pistons of the late 80s, the New York Knicks under Pat Riley in the 90s. They wanted to veer away from that. I don't think they needed to veer away as far as they have, but they clearly made a decision to do so, and it has clearly benefited the league financially. As a result, it's benefited Kenny, it's benefited me, it's benefited others. We ain't in a position to complain. And neither is Steve Kerr, who found a way to utilize it to capture 4 championships with the greatest shooting backcourt in the history of basketball with Steph and Clay. So we got to remember that, too.
Yeah. Hey, kudos to Shea. He's found a way to crack the code, okay? Good on him. Kenny the Jet, we appreciate you. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Queens in the building,
Yes,
baby.
Sir. QGTM. Queens get that.
Here we go.
Which had 35 points, including crazy one-legged threes, as the Lakers beat the Knicks 110-97.
And took a seat.
A game that wasn't as close as that final score would make it sound. So here are the facts. The Lakers are 9-2 when Luka and Austin Reeves play and LeBron James does not. So I guess the question, Windy, is that something or nothing?
Well, I guess in fairness, I should say that LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Luka Doncic have really not played that many minutes together. And they have, as they've continued to play together, the numbers have improved. But the data so far just screams what you just said. When Luka and Austin Reeves are on the court together, okay, they are a high-level team. Plus 6.1 per 100 possessions is the performance of a mid-50s win team. That is very strong. Obviously, now look at the bottom there. When LeBron and Luka are on the court together, minus 2.6. That differential is the difference between a play-in team or a team headed for the lottery and a team headed for a home court advantage seed. That just doesn't work. And when the three of them are together, it's getting better. And JJ Redick, if he was on this broadcast with us still, he would say, give me some more time. We're making improvements. But they don't have more time. Austin Reeves and LeBron James are free agents at the start of the season. The data points say they are better off with Luka and Reeves now and probably going forward.
We always say, is it something or is it nothing? And I'm going to say it's not nothing, right? That's the best way to put it because it might be a small sample size, but those numbers tell you all you need to know. There's also other numbers I'm looking at too. When the two of them, when it's just Luka and LeBron on the court together, you would think defense is the bigger issue. Their defensive rating together is the same as the team. So it's not bad and it's not terrible.
Right.
It's the same as the team. The offensive rating, which you would think with those two on the floor should skyrocket. It's not. In fact, they're a top 10 offense altogether. But when those two are on the floor, they would rank 25th in the league in offense. So the offense to me is what you're not getting, what you thought you would get to make up for the lack of defense.
Yes, and it's going to sound, and I understand why it will be interpreted that way by some, as though this is a criticism of LeBron James. It's not meant to be that at all. He is still a very high-level player. For his age, he's a ridiculously high-level player. But the fit of LeBron and Luka, which we thought might work great,
yep.
And this is not necessarily anybody's fault. It just doesn't necessarily work great.
No.
And so I think the future, if this was 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, you build around LeBron. At this point, you're clearly going to build around Luka.
Yeah.
So it means LeBron will likely be the one who's somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what this season has been screaming in LA, is that it is time to move on from LeBron. You're always going to go with the guy under 30 instead of the guy over 40, right?
Right, of course.
So I think we all know the inevitable end game that's going to happen here in LA, and it'll be the end of LeBron in LA.
And then the biggest and I guess best story in the NBA this weekend, the Celtics and Jason Tatum. They beat Dallas by 20 and Cleveland by 11 since the last time we were all in here on Friday. Jason Tatum had 20 points yesterday. Let me start with this. Windy, I watched the game on Friday night. He played longer and much better than I was expecting for him in game one. And then now we've seen a 2-game sample size. Has it been better than you were expecting, Winman?
I can't imagine that this could have gone better